Hello guys, welcome back onto the Dutch Couch. Now people who watch my videos and are regulars on here will know that the Premier League for me, I've fallen out of love with it massively. It's become systematic, robotic, boring, stats pad based football, right? But last night, that Newcastle Liverpool game for me was everything that the Premier League should be. The hype that's around this league, the hype that surrounded that game actually came out. For once it wasn't anticlimactic like most of the other football we see in the Premier League, in my opinion, right? A lot of this was fueled by the Alexander Isak transfer saga, right? He wants to go to Liverpool, from Newcastle. The Newcastle fans are up in arms about it, the way he's acted there, gone on strike basically, acted like a right plonker over these broken promises, right or wrong, I don't know. Last night, that absolutely threw fuel on the fire to produce this game. And I'll tell you what, I've not enjoyed a Premier League game like that for years. It was excellent. It had everything that a Premier League game should have. I mean, you had 52,000 Geordies there, right? Absolutely baying for blood. They were up for it. And when they get that place going, St James's Park, there's nowhere like it. That fan base are incredible. The atmosphere they created last night was unreal. Even through the TV, I felt like I was there. That's how decent it was. Most games I see in this league are slow, passive, sidewards, backwards passing. Should we get the possession up? Should we get the stats up? Should we make ourselves look good? Should we get the XG up? All this old shit, right? I'm a bit old school. A lot of people who know this channel will know that. That for me was blood and thunder. Absolute entertainment from the first minute to the 101st minute, because there was like 11 minutes injury time. It was a classic. I loved everything about the game. Credit to both teams. Credit to the crowd. It was a masterpiece, that game. Loved every second of it. You had Liverpool. Gone there as champions, right? They've gone there as champions. You're thinking, this is going to be an absolutely stonking game. Newcastle, that atmosphere transcended onto the pitch. Those Newcastle players, the adrenaline was incredible. They were relentless. They chased every ball down in packs. They hunted in packs. There was tackles flying in. There was cards. There was... The only thing I hated about it, I'm not interested in this fucking ref cam. I've got to tell you that I don't need to see the ref cam. And I don't need to... People don't need to hear the ref explaining stuff to you. Give the decision, move on. It's being Americanised. This is one of the things I don't like about the Premier League. But I'm looking at Liverpool at times yesterday, under the pressure. Newcastle could have been a couple up early on, right? Gordon had a few chances. Liverpool, you don't often see this team, full of world-class talent, right? Champions of this country, one of the best teams in world football. They simply couldn't cope. They couldn't cope with both the atmosphere and they could not cope with the pressure and the relentlessness of those Newcastle players who were showing absolute heart. This is what I love about football and what I absolutely hate about a lot of modern football. You don't see enough of that. Passion and heart. It's all for that. Unbelievable. Even though they looked under pressure and they looked like they was going to get battered at one time, Liverpool, somehow they managed to go at the other end and Ryan Gravenberch smashes in a goal from outside the area. You're thinking, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Didn't even look like it was going to get out of their own half at times until then. So they went 1-0 up and you're thinking, like, that's a sign of champions. As much as people are saying, no, they got battered, they were lucky, it is what champions do. You go through these games in the season, you don't play well, you get absolutely pummeled, you come away with points. They ended up doing it. But Anthony Gordon, for me, massively let himself down, he let his team down, and let his supporters down as well. They're all there, top of their voices, feeling this game, giving that energy to the players. Ridiculous tackle. He played the occasion, that was the problem. Showed immaturity, absolute lack of discipline. Let his team down massively. You're chasing, you're uphill struggle then, you're climbing a mountain. You'll be 1-0 down against the champions, right? I don't care if you've got that crowd behind you, still a mountain to climb. They've gone 2 down just after half time. Hugo Ekitike, great start for Liverpool in his career there. He's banged in another one. I'm sitting there thinking, I might as well turn it off. It's a cricket score now. Somehow, this is where it gets interesting, somehow this Newcastle team full of passion, fight, hunger, pride for that shirt, pride for their supporters. Don't see enough of this in the Premier League, in my opinion, since all this money became available. They showed everything that a football team should be in that second 45 last night. And that was one of the most 45 minutes, one of the most enjoyable halves of football that I've seen for such a long time. And I was a total neutral. There was no pressure on it for me. I wasn't worried about the score. It was just brilliant. Unbelievably good. I mean, they dragged it back somehow to 2-2. 10 men. It's not even a fact they had 10 men. They lost big players through injuries during the game. They brought inexperienced players on. Those players lifted it. Those players fed off the crowd. This is what I'm saying about football. It's how magical it can be. These youngsters came on. We'll go into another Liverpool youngster at the end who made a little bit of an impact, shall we say. Wow. These kids come on. They feed off of this energy. Everything that beautiful about football. 2-2. They come back to 2-2. I'm looking at Arne Slot on the sideline. He looks lost at this point. They look like the tides with Newcastle. Newcastle are down to 10 men, but they're absolutely battering Liverpool. They're smashing them, playing them off the park, fighting them off the park. Liverpool want full time at this point, I'm thinking. They don't know what's hit them. Attack after attack, wave after wave of Newcastle attack. Unbelievable. The credit they should get from that game. I know people are going to banter and say, well, you still lost. You done fuck all. No. They deserve all the credit. They deserve to win that game. 11v11. In my opinion, last night, Newcastle batter Liverpool 4-5-0. Smash them. 4-5-1, sorry. It was 1-0 down, wasn't they? But Slot, I'm looking at times, he looked lost. And I don't often see that with Arne Slot. I'm a follower of him, obviously with a Dutch connection there. He looked lost. I looked at him on that sideline. He didn't know what was happening. He was looking at his players in disbelief. He could not believe the pressure that Newcastle were putting Liverpool under. Double that with the atmosphere of the place. They was blowing that ball towards goal. Incredible. Nowhere in the Premier League for me is like St James's at his best. You've got Ellen Road and Anfield maybe on a par. But this place is just magic, I'm telling you. His team were fragile. Liverpool's team looked fragile, and you don't see that often. They got so much talent on the pitch. And you could see yesterday they were quite disjointed with the new players coming in. I thought Wirt struggled. But Szoboszlai, I've got to give him a mention. Szoboszlai playing right back. Looked like he'd been playing there for 10 years. He was incredible against Derby Barnes. Absolutely bossed him. I thought Szoboszlai was fantastic. But 11v11, like I say, I think Newcastle smash them. But they lost these players. Young players come on. They just fight for the badge. Everything I love about football. Ultimately, they didn't win nothing. But they were brave. They just attacked. They didn't care if they got picked off, which happened in the end, actually, with the winner. The only thought in Newcastle's head, how many teams in this league at 2-0 down with 10 men would still be trying to win the game, not just drag something out of the game? They were hell-bent on winning that game still. That's the mentality. That's down to the manager. Eddie Howe, I think he's a top-class coach. And I think, yeah, he's a great manager. And I think they've done well to get him, keep him. I think he'll build a really good side there. He already has. And they'll only keep improving. And the mentality of them, they'll get a lot from last night. Though they didn't take any points, they will take so much from that game positively. The gutting side for them, like I said, they walked away with nothing, points-wise. So they're sitting on 1 point from 2 games. But that, for me, wasn't a disaster last night. Liverpool as champions, that was I wouldn't say a champion's performance, but I'd say if you're going to be champions, you're going to have to go through some pain. For me, my opinion, people might not agree with me, but Liverpool, with this back four, I don't think this season can be champions. Konate, for me, is miles off. I'm not sure what's happened to him over the summer. He looks a totally different player. He looks miles off it. And as good as Van Dijk is, still the best for me. You need a partner next year. You can't expect Van Dijk to hold it all together. You've got new fullbacks integrating into the side as well. Konate needs to step up. I'm hearing today that they might have gone back in for Mark Gahey at Palace. I think it'd be a great signing. Solid defender. Canate, the links to Real Madrid, I don't understand it. Unless he's going to play in the women's team. I don't get it. I don't see it in him at all. He's miles off it. They'll take that all day long though. They'll take getting battered for the next 36 games and taking 3 points from all of them. It's not about performances. If you want to win silverware, when you look back at the Roll of Honour, it just says champions. It doesn't say champions, but we were lucky in a couple of games. You have to go through pain. You ask any team that have won league titles over 38 or 42 games like it used to be, they go through a lot of pain during the season. And I think Liverpool, they look a bit fragile to me. There's something not quite right with them. They don't look the same. It's going to take a while for them to get it together. So they need to pick up these points. Them points were crucial because they're going to go through more pain. And I expect them to struggle against Arsenal on Sunday as well, even though they're at home. I think Arsenal will go there and do a job on them. Set pieces in particular, they look really fragile. And that's Arsenal's strength. So as much as people say, take the piss and say Arsenal, Stoke City, might be a bonus for them on Sunday against Liverpool, who look really fragile. Like I said, 99% of this league bores the absolute shit out of me. But once in a blue moon, I see a game like that and it instills my confidence that all is not lost. These two teams always serve up a classic. So you're guaranteed it with them. But last night, I just felt there was a little bit extra of needle. There was tackles flying in. It was like an old school game. I don't think the ref was too fussy either. I thought he handled the game quite well in certain respects. There's definitely a few mistakes. There was a penalty shout for Newcastle. There was a few decisions that he missed. But I'll tell you what, I'd love to hear from Newcastle and Liverpool supporters. Did you enjoy that game? Last minute of the game, 110th minute I think it was. Slot brings a 16-year-old on, and you're thinking the game's winding down to a draw. He's giving him a little bit of the experience of the atmosphere. The kid goes and bangs in the winner. Last seconds of the game, literally the last touch of the game. What a moment for that young kid. And I'll tell you what, was great for the Premier League at the moment. There seems to be some really top youngsters getting some minutes on the pitch. This guy, you're getting Max Dowman, that Esteval at Chelsea. I know they paid about €60 million for him, whatever. But youngsters, I'd love to see. This is part of my love for Ajax. The academies. I'd love to see young players come through and succeed. And that's one of the biggest things I'd love to see this season. And for the national team, obviously, these players are going to be massive for England's national team, even though I support this national team. But I still love to see these youngsters come through and do well for England. But yeah, let me know what you thought about the game, and on to the next one.